Hey guys, Butts here. It's like so weird to say that because in the middle of the stream Saturday, my stream got cut short because Twitch gave me like a warning to. I was forced to change my name. It closed my Twitch account temporarily until I changed it. So unfortunately, currently my Twitch name is Butsy underscore underscore. I updated all my links to that, so nothing's gonna change if you're already following me. But hopefully, I can get that sorted out with Twitch and win that battle because that is such a ridiculous hill for them to die on. But anyways, I don't want the video to be about that. Today I want to talk about, without exaggeration, I think what is literally the highest attack damage skill in the game. And immediate follow-up to that sentence, I think this is the worst feeling skill in the game to actually play. So, you get your good and your bad. Perfectly balanced skill, I guess, as all things should be. So, Spectral Throw of, Spectral Throw of Materializing. When this goes up to 340% effectiveness, can hit upwards of 10 times with the correct setup, which I can showcase in these mechanics here if you want to see that. So in this week's installment of Local Ranger Beats Up Aberath, I wanted to showcase the hit count of Spectral Throw Materializing. Well, really just the Spectral Throw gems in general with this infamous mod, which gives the projectiles that you create a random projectile speed that's either more projectile speed or less projectile speed. I got tipped off to this by Fearless Dumbo's video where he showcased how powerful this interaction is with Spectral Throw of Charthus. If you're not following him, you definitely should. His content's incredible, and I wouldn't have learned about this interaction without that. So, Spectral Throw has strange mechanics in that if you shoot like 10 projectiles, you're not going to shotgun all of them, but it has this set interval of how frequently it can hit. I think it's like just over 0.2 seconds. So, if you create 10 projectiles, it's not going to really give you more hits, but if they each had a random proj speed, like one goes here, one goes here, one goes here, one goes here, you're going to create more instances for that hit interval, which just gives you way more hits than you would normally get with Spectral Throw. Spectral Throw, like with proper positioning, is normally about 3 hits, 4 if you're like really, really sweaty and you get like the perfect window. And then this one's even less hits because it doesn't hit on the way out, so this one would be like about 2 hits on average. But this is just Spectral Throw with, as soon as I can sock it in the right place, just 4 projectiles, no projectile speed on the tree. So you can see this one's going to be about average 4 hits. Sometimes you'll get 6, sometimes you'll get 3, sometimes you'll get 2, but that's going to be like a 5 one. Yeah. But you can just kind of tell because it's entirely obviously random with this. Now, if you, let's say, play a Deadeye or just have a ton of mark effect for whatever reason, I don't know how you can do that, maybe tattoos, and you take focal point here, and then this, we get up to over 100% mark effect. So let's put Sniper's Mark on him. What this is going to do is now it's going to create, I'm going to throw 4 projectiles. One of them is going to create 4 more because it's going to split 4 times. And it's going to get me about, on average, like 7, maybe 8 hits. Kind of just depends again. See, that was 7. That was 6. Seems about to be 7 on average with this exact setup with Sniper's Mark with 100% effect. Now, if we do something really weird, and just to keep in mind how much damage this is, Spectral Throw, especially of Materializing, has this effectiveness with a 10% more attack speed multiplier, so it's 370% effectiveness per hit. So at 7, we're already looking at slightly more damage than Molten Strike of the Zenith with the Nimis on. So let's see, or it's like actually almost exactly equivalent with that. Okay, but let's get a little weird though. Let's take the less projectile speed here. And let's put on Vengeance Cascade, which gives our projectiles 150% return speed. Now, watch this extremely weird interaction. I want to get them in the middle so the wall doesn't fuck with our results. I have no idea if it does. It might, but anyways. Do you see the really weird interaction that happens with Vengeance Cascade? With Vengeance Cascade, the projectiles, they shoot out like this, and then they zoom back really fast, hit, and then they shoot past them, and then they come back for another opportunity for interval hits. So it just really extends the duration that the projectiles live for. On average, with this setup, with just 4 proj, adjacent animosity, and this mastery, obviously this shit always leads to broken stuff. And then Vengeance Cascade, you're getting about 10 average hits. With 10 average hits, we are looking at a 370 effectiveness skill hitting 10 times is 3,700, which is almost double Molten Strike of the Zenith with the Nimis on. So I feel very confident in saying this is the highest attack damage skill in the game. Now, I titled my stream that the other day, and people thought I was trolling or whatever, but no, I'm very serious. One thing to keep in mind, especially with Spectral Throw of Materializing, is let me just show interactions on how this works real quick. This is the worst clearing skill I have ever played in the entire game. So I just want to kind of like level with you. Like, this is something you can use for single target, but Jesus Christ, do not try to clear with this. I tried to cope and do that yesterday a bunch. No, you need a clear skill, or you need to not take this and not do the animosity thing. But even then, it still feels so bad because the mechanics of the way the skill works is it doesn't deal damage until it comes back. So that means like when you attack out and it spins here for a while, it goes out, spin, 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 no damage yet, and then here. So it's like if the mobs move, or you have a 1.5 second period where just like you don't deal damage when you're attacking, which is just like rippy and makes your damage feel terrible and delayed. But yeah, essentially, oh, he's not marked, right? A mark effect is a very big part of this, by the way. But yep, as you can see, it'll be completely variable, unclear exactly how many hits. And then if I do something like Spectral Throw of Charthus, it's really, really hard to tell. Let me put the bananas on this so you guys can see a banana for scale. With traps, it's really, really hard to do hit count. I can kind of hear it. See how many this is. God, and that one, he overrated it with his sound. Now I'm not hearing it at all. I don't know how many hits that is. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. And the thing that's really nice about this one is it gets another projectile with level. You don't actually need to scale the proj count. This interaction, especially the sniper's mark thing, just standalone, is incredibly potent for this and is just a shit ton of damage, making Spectral Throw this league be just one of the highest damage skills on multiple versions. Normal Spectral Throw is like Spectral Throw of Tarthus, or of Materializing. It is just half damage. But the difference is, actually, I got it's like 40% damage. But the difference is it doesn't have that miserable mechanic where it doesn't deal damage on the way out. So you can actually clear with this skill. Anyways, that's the mechanics of the skill. But essentially, this skill has almost 4,000 effectiveness, which makes it almost double the damage of Molten Strike of the Zenith with a Nimis on, making it truly fucked up. So the question then is, what ascendancy do you play that on? How do you make it as tanky as humanly possible because you have infinite damage? And then what is your clear skill? Those are all the things I'm going to try to touch on today. So if you want to see the mechanics of how the skill actually works and how I'm getting so much damage, the damage in the Uber showcase, I would hope showcased how much damage it is because this is a champion built entirely around being tanky, and just how much free damage we get out of Spectral Throw Materializing. But I'm going to showcase a map real quick to show you how bad I think the clear is and why I think you need to use a clear skill. That is something else. So Spectral Throw Materializing does not deal damage until those little bananas come back. So right there, I just did no damage to those mobs because the Spectral Throws had to go past them and then come back, and then they missed the mobs. Truly, only the clear a mother could love. It is rough. Killing bosses, great. But actually clearing a map with that, very unpleasant. Now, you could have like a 6-link in your chest, but since I'm using like a pseudo like 9-ish, 8-ish, 9-ish from Claw, it's going to make the skill that I use in my chest pretty awful. So someone suggested something that was really obvious in hindsight, I feel like. Weapon swapping. You can still do this. I forgot this existed. This is a mechanic, you guys. But so I have the same kind of setup with Venom Gyre here, and you could use any clear skill you want. I just really, really like Venom Gyre, and I think it has really great coverage, especially with like Fork and Chain. The damage on it is quite low, but if your gear is decent, you know. And the one thing that we have to do is, and the reason I specifically want to have a, like, it sounds ridiculous to use 2 squires. This is dirt cheap in current software trade market, but because you need to use gems to like fix the projectile speed that you just destroyed if you want to use a proj speed to clear, proj skill to clear. So I have to use like faster projectiles here, and then a little more quality by putting in the squire. Because we don't want to have any proj speed on our character. We want to have destroy this to make our material girl deal like infinite damage. But point is, you could use another melee skill. You could use maybe Wild Strike. You could use Frostblade. You could use Lightning Strike. There's probably other skills you could use. You don't have to even use a Claw. You could use like a Static Strike Shockwave setup maybe. But essentially, if your setup is this level of damage, then I want to talk about the next thing. I do not know exactly how to scale this setup. This is not a finished build. I will say just like kind of side note, not even side note, just like kind of on this goes. My channel is almost never going to be build guides. It is always going to be, here are powerful ideas, try to use them, try to find builds for them, and then just like kind of have at it. I want to like put forth like powerful concepts and powerful interactions, and not so much like hand-holdy, like here is this build, you should follow this, because that's not really, that's just not really the kind of content I want to make, and kind of not the community I want to foster, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of want to release good ideas, and then it's because it kind of pains me if I post a PoB and then people just follow it to the letter, because it's just like, man, I don't fine tune them really that well. I put them together in what looks good to me, but I'm not min-maxing these, and I'm literally making this exact PoB based on the exact amount of money I have at that exact time. So and just like some minor upgrades to that. So you can always put Mage Blood on my builds. You could always do like all this other stuff and just improve them much further than I can, because I never do high investment builds, which is funny to say because this is one of the most high investment characters this is by far the highest investment character I played this league, just on Mark Effect tattoos alone. Now, getting to Mark Effect tattoos, you don't necessarily need to scale Mark Effect past 100%, like I have Hound's Mark here to do that. But my initial idea was ascendancy-wise, it was like, I want to be something duelist or ranger, because I want to be able to convert all my dex nodes into Mark Effect to get more damage, which is why we're using Supreme Ostentation here. And initially I was thinking I go champ, because champ just is like, if you have infinite damage, you always think, what is the highest defense setup I can actually use? And then to me, it was either some kind of champ setup or some kind of trickster setup. I went with champ because, well, I just kind of wanted to play champ. I didn't feel like doing ES stacking on trickster. And that creates a whole other can of worms, because you don't want to path through the dex nodes, and you don't get Mark Effect really well, and you don't path by here. It just kind of, the pathing alone just seemed kind of like nightmarish. Maybe you don't need it, but that was my initial reason why I'm going champ. I wanted to do this and go like stack past the Fortify here, but you can't use Celestial Brace, so it's really hard to get max Fortify stacks without using something like Replica Badge of the Brotherhood, but then it's kind of difficult to actually set this up. Long story short is I'm unsure of what Ascendancy I would actually do for this. I think there's a lot of viable options. I think you can make an argument for Glad. I think you can make an argument for going Poison on Pathfinder. And that one even seems kind of nice, because maybe you can go, what was I going to say, like Doppelgangers guys, and like shift to Chaos, and then just kind of get your mitigation that way. Because I was running, I was initially, before we found the clear setup for this, I was only doing boss rushing on Abomination map, and I was dying a decent amount, which was very surprising, because it's like my character's just built so much around being thick that I was kind of shocked at how frequently I was dying. But it's like, the reality is 217 map mods with like, 400% damages extra, and then like a bunch of like minus 25 max res, it's just, you're just going to die. So and I was thinking Defiance would help with that, but like I still like, my XP is low because I've been dying a lot, which is very surprising. My Merc was dying more, but I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, I don't know what the way to make this kind of setup like thick, so you can run ridiculous content where you need this kind of damage. Maybe and then maybe that is where you get into that. Maybe you just have to play Trickster to get a big enough raw hit pool. I'm unsure. So the Merc setup on this, like, and this is going to vary with the Ascendancy you actually go to. Like currently, I'm just doing typical Doriani bullshit, and I'm scaling Wrathor effect here with Wrath on the Belt, and then I would get a little bit more like elsewhere, but I did give up some stuff to make him a little more beefy. Like I have Spell Block on the boots, which hurts our Doriani here. You get better rings to get more minus max res, and then I would ideally get this same shield with Life on Block plus Spell Block as implicit as well, so that he can keep alive. Like I also have Safeguarding Anointed even to get a little bit more block out of that, because when I was running boss rushing specifically with this, because it's like you can't clear with this, so I was like, well, what can I do? It's like Chow has helped me figure out strategies. It was either Rogue Exiles or like boss rushing T17s. The boss rushing T17s felt good for this build in particular, but anyways, because it's just like something you can actually do, because if you can't clear, you need to just do something where you just need to wail on something with a ton of life. But between this setup with Doriani Merc, I could see an argument for going, here he is, going a Rallying Cry setup, because I've heard these are a little bit beefier, because my Merc was dying, and like as I mentioned, I was trying to help fix that. I could see something like Rallying Cry here, and then maybe using like Rockiatas and then resistance flipping, maybe using you use like Rocky as yourself, and then Rallying Cry to get more flat here. I could also see using Rallying Cry to maybe go like a Pathfinder angle and then go Poison with like a pneumatic, because if you get a really big Kurui chopper on, I keep clicking the wrong one. Get a really big Kurui chopper here, end up with like 500 like fizz or something. Or you could honestly just have a tri-Ellie Kurui chopper, as stupid as that sounds. And that'll get all added to your pneumatic, and you can poison with that, and then you have a pretty powerful setup, and maybe Pathfinder's Prolif will help a little bit with the clear. Honestly, you would want like the explosions of Occultist, but she's just such a bad spot on the tree. But yeah, that's kind of like it for the Merc setup. I can't imagine, it just kind of in general, and it's kind of sucks the way it is. If you're playing a skill that is not like buffing your Mercs, it's very difficult to not play a Doriani's or Rallying Cry one if you can, since if you are a hit build. So it's going to be one of those, depending on which one you use, is kind of up to you. I like the Doriani's Split's Wrath here, but I could also, like I said, I like the Doriani's Wrath here, but I could also see an argument for just getting a bunch of flat out of Rallying Cry one, getting a little tankier. He'll be like a little bit easier to keep alive maybe. I was going to showcase that the boss damage is still fine in like a more monster-like Syrinx arc without using my specific like swaps that I do for single target. So if I was like doing Uber specifically, what I would do is I would swap this out to Veil the Night to lower that res a little bit. Ideally, you don't have to do this at all because this gets rid of his defenses, makes him way squishier, but you're going to be able to delete Uber, so it shouldn't be fine. You don't want to go into T17s with something like this because he will just get murdered immediately. But yeah, if you're just going in where you need to just delete something, that's something you can do if you don't have perfect rings yet, and then because you don't need the reflect immunity from Wilma's. And then I would be swapping out flasks like, ideally you'd get Chaos Res Cap, which I need to switch my Lighting Meaning to a Chaos one, but swap out Dying Sun and your other flask to Prismatic Tincture and a Diamond Flask to just get maximum single target. But like I was saying, I don't think we'll really need it. Initially, I was going Soul Eater on this setup, and that is going to be way more damage. Actually, I still have the Mark Effect tattoos from coming up here to hit these 2 nodes that you need to hit. But my raw hit pool is really low, even though my damage was like getting to like 300 million, which is just like so unnecessary for pretty much anything. And I wanted to just get like a little bit beefier. So, as you can see, the damage is still obviously more than acceptable, without like with using like my clear setup and not having all the damage from like Diamond and Tincture. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like you're bossing, you just kind of like switch this stuff around very mildly. But there's a billion different ways to set this up, and it's kind of just like I kind of just wanted to showcase with you guys, and then hopefully the community can find some kind of setup to actually optimize this or like where this actually goes. But yeah, I want to say that's pretty much everything. I don't think there's really that much to add. It's Spectral Throw is disgusting with this mod, and there's a lot of ways to make it even more disgusting. And then if you want to make it the maximum gross, you need to find a way to clear. And then what is the ascendancy? I'm hoping those are questions you guys can help me answer. Like on Champ, if you just want to go damage, you just go Deadeye because you get long shot plus 2 proj and then the Mark Effect. If you're just like making a glass like Uber Boss or something, that would be what you do. But with Champ, it's like I get extra proj, so I've like to take Phantom Blades here and either a Megalo with another Phantom Blades or just another cluster over here. So it's a lot harder. I think I'm giving up probably like 80% of my damage, or probably like maybe like 70% by going Champion over Deadeye. But I have been dying on the setup, so I don't think my version is great, at least with the content I was running. So I'm hoping someone comes up with something better, because I'm relatively unhappy with how squishy I felt, despite how thick the PoB for this actually looks. So hopefully you guys can come up with something. I'm going to keep playing it because the build's very good. It's just like, it just feels like this is not remotely the final form yet. All right. Poops in, butts out. God, hopefully I'm still butts in the future. But all right, no complaining.